What's going on, guys? In this video we are going to talk about Mamba. What is Mamba? Mamba is our man-to-man defense. So we're going to actually talk about the rotations and the rules that we're going to install for Mamba. And I'm going to teach you guys based on where the ball is, how and where you should rotate, the three types of defense that are man-to-man defenses. So within the man-to-man structure, there are three techniques that we will use, and then a couple more techniques that we'll use as far as positioning and why we call our defense Mamba. So first, let's talk about the three techniques that we will use. So our blue guys here are our defense. Okay, and we're in man-to-man. First rule of Mamba defense is when we're in it, you have to call out your matchup, your check. You have to yell their number. Your teammates must know who you're guarding. Your coach must know that you are guarding a player and who you're guarding. You cannot look lost. You must have a check, and you must know where your check is at all times. So first way to do that is to match up based on height. Find a player that is your height and match up with them. Do you need to do that standing around and match up? No, you can do this on the fly, meaning right away. I got number 10. He could be running this way. You start chasing him to get on the defense. I got 10, and that's my player. Okay? So matching up with your man and knowing his jersey number is very important, and learning what he looks like is also very important right away. Okay, the second thing is you need to know what kind of technique you're supposed to play. So the first technique that we'll talk about is on-ball defense. There are three positions that your defender can be in. Your defender can have the ball. Okay, your defender can be one pass away from the ball. Okay, meaning one rotational spot away from top to wing, or top to elbow, or top to free throw line, okay, or top to the other elbow. Or your check, your matchup can be two passes away, meaning it takes two spots to get to your matchup. Those are positions where your matchup can be, and those will tell you what technique you need to play. So if your check has the ball, we are in what's called on-ball defense. And we work in this. We work in our defensive slides. We work in distancing ourselves. How much space do we need to be? Do we need to sag off? Or do we need to pressure? Or do we need to play arm's length away? Okay, how much distance do we want to give them while we're playing on-ball defense? Okay, the second technique, or technique 2, is gap or deny. Okay, and gap or deny is the type of defense that you play if your check is one pass away. Okay, one pass away means that he doesn't have the ball and that you have to move into position where you need to help your teammate who's defending the player with the ball by moving into the space we call the gap. And the gap is the space between your check and the ball. This area right here, that's known as the gap. So we shift over, we jump, they call it, into the gap, and we move back just a little bit. Okay? Sagging off is when you move back and you give some space. But what that does is it makes it difficult for the ball handler to drive left or to drive right, because you're in the gap and the space is not there. You can close it and help your teammate out. Okay? So that's one way to play when you're one pass away. The other way to play when you're one pass away is deny. And deny is to just move over into what we call our takeaway position. So you don't have to jump back and you don't have to jump into the gap, but you just move over into a takeaway position, and you're in a position where if the ball handler passes it to your check, you can actually step in front and steal that pass. You can rob that pass, okay? When you're also in deny, what happens is, position-wise, you're in a stance where your numbers on your chest are facing your check, and you're, in this case, with the small forward, your right hand is up, and it's across his numbers. You're denying, with your thumb down, the pass to go to that player. So you actually are physically putting your hand in that passing lane and your arm in that passing lane and denying him and taking away that pass. Okay, so these are all variations of help defense. Okay, and they're also variations of pressure defense in some cases, where if we're in the gap, if we're playing gap, we were actually taking away drives. If we're playing deny, we're taking away the passes to these players. Each player will be played differently based on who's more talented on the opposing team. Okay, so now we'll talk about technique number 3, and we'll talk about help, and we'll talk about the basics of help. So players who are in help are generally 2 passes away. Okay, so right now with the ball at the top, the players that are in help are 2 corner matchups. So our power forward is in help, so he comes down to the key. We'll talk about where help is, and our center right now, our defender on the center is in help as well. So the help positions, let's talk about those, because I have 2 variations on help. The first one is if the ball is above the free throw line, okay, then help is to be in the key with 1 foot. Okay, to be in the key with 1 foot. Okay, if the ball is above the free throw line, you want to be in the key with 1 foot. And who you're helping is, you're letting the person who is on ball know that you have his help. If he gets beat, then you got help. Meaning if it's a drive right, this top guard has the ball in his right hand, and he's going to drive right. The right side help, or in our defensive side, the left side help, would be the person who would, if they got beat, step up and take that on-ball challenge. Okay, so now he has help, and he would be defending the ball. Okay, and then the left side help, or excuse me, this would be the right side help if you're on defense. Okay, the power forward would be helping the helper. So if this help person stepped up but also got beat, he would slide in and help the helper. Okay, and eventually force a pass out. Okay, which would mean a rotation back out, and everybody would rotate. Okay, so if the ball is above the free throw line, our help, players who are 2 passes away, need to sag off. They cannot be out on their checks. They cannot be in the gap or deny, because that leaves help wide open. And again, help is the space that's directly in front of the rim. It's the key. It's above the rim. Usually I like to put a couple of dots, one in front of the hoop and one above in the free throw zone circle. And then I like to put a couple of dots, one on the side of the key and one on the other side of the key as well, where we would put 1 foot in. Now let's talk about the reason why we would go 1 foot in. The reason why we would go 1 foot in is if they decided to pass, who did I just move? Yeah. If they decided to pass from top and skip it to the corner, it would make rotating a lot closer than if you were all the way in on your help. Okay, it would make rotating out a lot closer to get in position to, in this case, be on ball defense. Okay, so our rotations would be faster. You're going to be at least 3 feet closer, 3 to 4 feet closer to get to the ball versus all the way over. So that's one rule. The second is corner shots are a lot easier. So as the game evolves and as you get better at this game, these are shots that you want to make sure are always contested and always challenged and always pressured. Okay, so ball back to the top. Ball is above the free throw line. That means we are 2 pass away guys are going to sag into help. 1 foot in. Now let's say ball gets swung to the wing, but it's still above the free throw line. So who rotates? Well, first rotation is our wing defender has to come on ball. Now, how far do we want to defend the ball? Well, for you guys, we're going to stay inside our yard. We want to stay inside the 3-point line and defend inside the 3-point line. We do not need to come outside the 3-point line unless all of a sudden there is a prodigy shooter who can shoot those shots one after the other. But we don't need to defend shots that players can't make. Okay, so we want to put ourselves in a position on ball, that is in a defendable spot inside the fence. Okay, and we want to protect there. The next rotation is our guard goes into gap, whether he's going to gap or he's going to deny. If going to deny, he's just going to step over. If going to gap, he's going to jump over and take away the drive going left for that player. Okay, so let's go gap. Okay, and then our center has to come out and take away. We're going to take away the pass. So we're going to put him into deny the corners. Deny the corners. So he's going to step into takeaway position right on the fence. And if this ball comes this way, he can step in front of it and take away that pass. All right. So now who is our help? Well, 2 passes away. So that becomes our shooting guard. So he comes down to get 1 foot in the key. And our power forward, he comes over and down to get 1 foot in the key as well. And we stay 1 foot in the key until that ball goes below the free throw line. Okay? There's 2 ways the ball can get below the free throw line. The first way is if it's passed below the free throw line, we'll do a rotation. So he now is on ball. He now is gap. So we want gap. He now he is help. Okay. He's going to come 2 feet in. He is help. He's going to come 2 feet in. Okay. And he's going to come over. And he is help. He's going to come 2 feet in. Okay. And he is over. So now we actually have 3 players inside the key. And they have 2 feet in the key. And the reason for that is we want, when the ball gets below the free throw line, we want to take away as much of the court as possible. It allows things like double teams to happen. Okay, we want to take away that. It allows us to rotate and take away different players, so we can shift over if a double team happens. We can now deny here, and we can still have 2 players in help, which is always going to be a Mamba rule of ours, is to have 2 players in help, helping the drive. Okay, and it really shortens the court against a defense or another team. Against another team who likes to move the ball into the corners, especially when we have man-to-man. So we can use our defenders more wisely when the ball goes low. It still allows us to have 2 players in the key, fully committed to being goalies and protecting the hoop. Okay, and on these swing passes, okay, our rotations can still be pretty decent. So we get that ball swing out there, we close out to on ball, we close out to gap, we close out to help, we close out to help, okay, and we close out to gap, all right, as the ball is moving. Now, when do you move? Okay, when do we rotate? When do we rotate? We rotate when the ball is in the air. So if this pass goes to this corner, as it's in the air, we're trying to rotate into our positions. We know it's going to our checks. We know we want to rotate on ball, no baseline. Okay, whether we're up in pressure, we want to rotate on ball, no baseline. When our check passes the ball, if he passes it left to his left, we jump to the right. We literally jump into the gap. Okay, we jump and now we're into the gap. We're taking this gap away. Now, if the ball goes passed back to the right, we come back to on ball and we step over to take away or deny passes to the corner. Okay, and deny position. Okay, so just different ways. Hey, if you guys went and jumped, I wouldn't care. You could deny it, or you could jump into the gap and take away the drive and be helped there. Okay, gap here. Ball is above free throw line, so we only need 1 foot in help. We got to be able to rotate over because we need to prevent swing. And that's one of our rules. We don't want to be in a position where ball goes here and these guys decide to kind of get big and ball goes here, swing, and we're caught with our hands in the cookie jar, and all of a sudden he's got this ball and he can advance it with a drive and get to the hoop, and then somebody has to, so maybe he gets coverage here and maybe he's got to go out because there's no help. He didn't realize he's 1 pass away and he rotates in. Whatever the case may be, we're just trying to rotate into position as best we can. Let's see what else we want to go over here. So ball's here. Let's go over where ball location is and we'll just rotate the guys accordingly. And I'll try to see if I can lock them in. So ball's at top. Let's put everybody in position. So our guard's inside the fence. Okay. And our shooting guards in the gaps. Okay, they're in the gaps. And our power forward, he's 1 foot in help, and our center comes in, he's 1 foot in help. Okay, so we're pretty tight. Look at this formation. There's going to be no layups. So now they're looking for their open side. Maybe they're like us and they want to come to the left. Okay, so they swing it over. Okay, so on that ball movement, so let's go, actually let's lock that last one in. Boom. Okay, so now we're going to pass it. Boom. Let's lock that pass in. So now our rotations. He's going to jump to gap. He's on ball. Okay, he has to come out and deny the pass to the corner. Ball is still above the free throw line, so he can stay here. He's watching ball. He's low post. If you notice, any shots coming from this side, he's low post. If this guy tries to kind of cut, he can see. He's always got eyes on his check. And excuse me, yeah, that's one thing I want to make sure I talk about. Okay, well, I'll get to it in a sec. Just reminded myself. But he's got eyes on his check. He may be down, so he's always got to have eyes on his check. We call them guns. Okay, let's lock that in. Okay, so now he's going to swing and swing. Two quick passes. Swing. And let's get our rotations in on swing. Boom. So now he's out. He's going to have to rotate to the gap. Ball is on the free throw line. So now we got 2 players in. We got 1 and we got 2 all the way in help. And he's got to step up into deny and front that low post right there. And we'll lock that in. Okay. And now, could they get it to there? Nope. But now they're going to skip it. Okay. We'll just go a straight skip to the corner. As ball is moving in the air, so we'll get it right to about here. And now we'll do our rotations as ball is moving in the air. That's how far it got before our guys realize they have to rotate. The earlier you can realize when ball is in air that you need to rotate. Where's my check? I need to rotate to him. Or better mindset is, I know where my check is and you know where your next rotation is going to be. You'll get closer to your check before he catches the ball, because as soon as your check or a player, not your check, catch the ball, you have to kind of stop and kill ants and slow down and kind of move slower into position. Okay, you don't want to be running full speed and he caught the ball and he's able to use your momentum against you and swip and rip it and go, or sweep it and go and easily get past you with one dribble. You don't want that to happen. So as soon as he catches the ball, you break down, it's called, break down, and then you adjust into position. Okay, and maybe he got here and he was able to rotate into gaps, and ball is below the free throw line, so he's got to come in all the way in to help and protect the hoop. And now we're taking away a lot of that space on that skip. So our rotations are really nice there. Now let's say they run pass, cut, and fill. So they pass, boom, and they cut. Okay, and when they cut, we cut with them. We always want to take away the front side of their cut. Okay? We always want to jump in front of them on cuts and not let them cross our face. We want to jump in front of them on their cuts and take away that path. Okay? He might pass and he might still be cutting. Okay? And he's going to fill top. He's going to fill wing. He's filling corner. His check is there. He's staying with his check. He's still in help. So let's say he's about to kind of fill out that way. And let's say this guy decides to drive. Right? He caught his guy off guard. Well, now, what's the rule of help? The rule of help is if the guy I'm helping gets beat, which would be he did a left drive, so it's the low guy, low, low, low. If it's a low, I got low, I got low. You're communicating, meaning he's going low. So this guy's now going to stop ball. He's got to become the on-ball defender. And maybe it migrates into a double team. So we're here. Boom. He's got help and he's able to stop ball. Boom. Forcing this guy maybe to bounce out into the corner. Okay, and now he can kind of release him and let his primary defender take him. And now let's make sure our rotations are good. So now our guard has to fill. He's going to fill. This guard has to fill. And there's a swing there on that fill. And now while ball's in the air, everybody should be rotating to where their check is. He's going to be on ball. He's got to jump into deny. He's got to go back into his rotation, into help. This guy's going to be filling top. So he's going to be taking that pass away in a gap. And maybe this guy fills up. And this guy fills out. And this guy's going to be in help. So there's going to be a help here. And he says, go high. I help. There we go. So now his check is high. His check is low. And there we go. So maybe that's some rotations there. So now the ball gets to the man. Boom. And it's a swing. Swing. And on that second swing is where we realize, oh, our rotations are off a little bit here. But we know the ball is going to the other side of the court. When the ball travels to the other side of the court and it's going far from you, the first thing that comes into your mind must be go help, go home. We call the key home. And every team that you're going to go to, most of the coaches are going to refer to the key as the house. This is your house. This space outside of the key is your yard. This is the roof, okay? Your yard. This is the fence. The three-point line is your fence. So get in your yard. Get in your house means protect the house, means stay tight around the house. Okay, and then one more swing. Okay, boom. Okay, and he is not able to rotate in time, so he's breaking down right here. And he's breaking down kind of right here, and he's in spot. So it leaves a shot for this guy. And those two guys who have passed, they're cutting. He's cutting. He's filling. He's filling. Okay, and he's filling all the way over. Actually, he's filling to there. And then he's filling again. And he's filling again. And maybe he's filling out. And he's filling out. You get the point. It doesn't matter. But our rotations are going to be know where your check is. So now our center is on the point guard because of swing, swing. That's really where it breaks down. When you're facing a man-to-man defense, the quicker you move the ball and skip the ball and screen for the ball and pass, cut, and fill, the more confusing it becomes for players to remember where their checks are. And then eventually you get mismatches at certain positions. So right now we have our point guard is mismatched with our center, our shooting guard and our small forward, not too much of a mismatch. Shooting guard, and then we got our point guard defending our center on the opposite side. So this may be a point where their center now comes to the high post and looks to get the ball inside, like here with a power flash or something like that. He may go power flash because there's a mismatch, or he may swing it to here and go guard against center, fast against slow. So this might be like Jake against Matthew, or Jake against Darius, or Joaquim against, you know, John. It could be a mismatch. It might not be a mismatch, just depending on the battle itself. So, but we're in position now. Let's play this and let's see. No, I didn't even animate this correctly. Did it? No, it did. Lockdown 26. Okay, let's see what I got here. Here we go. So swing, we're rotating, on ball, gaps, deny, help, help, above the key, so 1 foot in, rotate to on ball, and now because it was on the key line, both guys come all the way, 2 feet in help, all the way to the midline, skip pass, good rotations, pass and cut. Okay, he's got to follow his check, staying with his check, but also knowing if he needs to be in help or not. He has to bounce out. Okay, he's able to recover. Swing. Okay, here's where everything starts to meaty up. Okay, swing, swing. Are we in position? So this is where it becomes a match. So he's able to shoot that shot. We just want to contest that. But we've got good defense on in our house. Not bad, guys. Watch it over and over. Learn help. Learn your rotations and when you need to be in help. These are things we need to get better at. And we need to get better at communicating with each other and matching up with our checks and in our zones. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.